Every year, Battle Royale games launch with hype, trailers, betas, big promises, and for a moment they all look like they're going to be the next big thing. But most of them don't survive. Some games become Fortnite, some games become Apex Legends, some stay alive like Warzone, but others disappear. Spellbreak, Bloodhunt, Realm Royale, Hyperscape. They didn't fail because they were terrible games. They failed because they didn't make it through the great filter. Today, we're breaking down what the great filter of gaming is and why only a few Battle Royale games make it out alive. I am your host, Merc. If you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe. Let's get into it. In this episode, we're breaking down what the great filter of gaming is and why only a few Battle Royales make it out alive. Now, you might be asking yourself, what is the great filter? The great filter is an idea, a theory from science that starts off with a simple question. If intelligent life should be common in the universe, with billions of galaxies and trillions of planets, why don't we see it everywhere? Before we talk about why so many Battle Royales failed and couldn't even get past the first stage of the great gaming filter, let's talk about the game that flew through it. I mean, absolute superstardom. The game is Fortnite. Fortnite is the industry standard. Every game wants to be like Fortnite. When Fortnite peaked its viewership in 2018, it will go down as one of the biggest gaming moments in history. Now, we need to explain why Fortnite succeeded. Stage 1, the fill filter. This is the most important part of the great gaming filter. If you cannot get past stage 1, don't even think about going through the other 3 stages. Now, you have to ask yourself, does the game feel good to play? Does the game feel different? And does the game feel like it's worth learning? Now, Fortnite passes immediately by doing something that no other Battle Royale did. Building. They introduced a unique mechanic that players fell in love with. It turned gunfights into skill battles. It gave players control over fights and an ability to move tempo. It created a skill ceiling that was just unmatched for the time. Fortnite changed the Battle Royale scene. Unfortunately, some games don't even get to see 1/10 of the success of Fortnite. Games like Bloodhunt failed to make it through the great filter. I'll tell you why. Bloodhunt was unique, stylish, and on paper had everything it needed to be a great Battle Royale game. It had wall climbing, vertical movement, sliding, immense combat, unique systems, but it just came at the wrong time. See, when Bloodhunt came out, you already had your big 3, Fortnite, Apex, and Warzone. They dominate, till this day, the Battle Royale scene. So why would you go play Bloodhunt? You might play for a couple hours, enjoy the game, but it's never going to be in the big 3. See, timing is a huge aspect when it comes to this area. Although Bloodhunt was an amazing game, it failed to get timing down. The Battle Royale hype started to die down during this point. A lot of these things, if you didn't cash in early in the market, you're just never going to succeed. Unfortunately, Bloodhunt failed. Now, what do you guys think is number 2, Apex or Warzone? Me personally, given the longevity of this game, I'd give it to Apex. Apex Legends is one of the clearest examples of games that passed the great filter but never completely dominated. It survived where most Battle Royales failed, yet it lives in Fortnite's shadow. And the reason why it comes to how Apex handled each stage of the filter. Stage 1, the fill filter. Apex Legends passed this perfectly. The movement was fast, fluid, satisfying, sliding, climbing, ziplining. Everything felt intentional. The storytelling was amazing. Gunplay was clean. Fights were readable. Kills felt earned. From day 1, Apex felt amazing. This alone separated from other games like Bloodhunt, Spellbreak, and Hyperscape, which didn't cling onto an identity. Apex knew what it was and stood on that. Stage 2, the attention filter. Apex nailed this. Its launch was amazing. It boomed. It actually took Fortnite streamers away, although they did pay them. And it absolutely smashed. It was a smash on Twitch, YouTube, brand new players. It was a new feel to the Battle Royale genre. Now, where it did mess up is that it didn't keep its players. After the streamers' contracts were up, they left and went right back to Fortnite. This is the dark ages of Apex, and it almost fizzled out had they not kept improving. EA was a big company. It couldn't let its game fail. So what did they do? They got right back in the lab, created better stories, made the community re-fall in love with it. And as we know it today, Apex is still booming. Before we talk about this next game, we have to give them their flowers. PUBG. Player Unknown Battleground. It single-handedly popularized Battle Royale as we know it. Without PUBG, you don't have Fortnite, you don't have Apex, and you for sure don't have Warzone. See, but these other games that came after it didn't just copy it, they studied it. Then they outplayed it. PUBG, although it did die, didn't die because it was a bad game. It died because it couldn't keep up. See, PUBG on launch, this plays into filter 1. The gunplay was clunky, the movement was slow, and the performance was mid at best. But it felt intense, it felt real, it had raw, it was passionate. Every fight mattered, every mistake was punished. PUBG proved the concept worked, so that's why I say it passed the first filter. Stage 2, the attention filter. PUBG dominated Twitch, broke player count numbers. It ruled Steam. It was the pinnacle of battle royales at its time. Now, while this game was booming, you had 3 studios watching it: Activision, Epic Games, and EA, and they're all trying to figure out how to do better than PUBG. Unfortunately, this is where PUBG stopped, dead in the middle. It could have seen massive success. A lot of people will argue that PUBG killed itself. However, I'll say that Fortnite did it in. It put the final nail in the coffin. Fortnite is the end of PUBG. It took its #1 streamer, Ninja, and brought him over, and he's seen massive success. Shroud had left, the community start imploding in on itself. See, you want to know what actually replaced PUBG? Warzone. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But Warzone had the realism, the gunfight, but it was polished. It was backed by a bigger studio. PUBG also seen success in the mobile community, but that's just not the same because Fortnite did it better. You can play on your phone and play with PC and console players, so it even got did in there. See, PUBG just couldn't innovate fast enough. It was too narrow-minded. They wanted to stick to a grittier style of gameplay. However, when games like Apex existed and Warzone did it better and Fortnite was Fortnite, it had to get better or get left behind. And this is the point where it got left behind. Unfortunately, I put the nail in the coffin with PUBG. It hasn't seen the same success that it's seen 5 years ago, and that's why I say that PUBG is dead. How did Call of Duty Warzone fare up against the filter? In my opinion, it did quite well, had some struggles, but it ultimately made it through. Warzone had fast combat. Matter of fact, very fast combat, a low time to kill, high damage weapons, and minimal reactionary windows, meaning that if you messed up, you were most likely dead. For skilled players, this was very rewarding, but for casual players, it was very punishing. Every engagement demanded precision. You had to be extremely knowledgeable about the game. Every mistake could absolutely end your playtime. The skill gap widened throughout the years. Sweats optimized loadouts. They had videos on it, TikToks. It just blew up. Casual players struggled to survive in this era of gaming, especially for the Call of Duty community. Warzone passed through this filter quite well. Stage 2, arguably the most important, the attention. Warzone was backed by Activision. Activision is Call of Duty, you guys already know. Warzone absolutely dominated because it was a game where you would be punished easily. Streamers' content shaped the way the game was seen. High kill games was the standard. Aggressive play replaced positioning. Everybody wanted to go for high kills because that's what people wanted to see and that's what was popular. Public matches turned into performance spaces. Everybody had to put on a show. Now, sweats chased highlight potentials. Casual players entered lobbies already outmatched. The skill disparity became obvious within the first couple months of this game. As the conversation grew around this game, the accusations of cheating increased. People were running if you're zimming, aimbotting, getting bot lobbies. Everybody was divided. The sweats had to defend themselves. The casual players were absolutely getting dominated. Now, the tension stayed locked on Warzone, although the game was in a bad state during this time. Stage 3. Warzone design amplified its own problems. Fast combat rewarded mastery. Mastery pushed casual players into unfair fights. Developer responded with changes. Weapon tuning, players rotations, resurgence. When I tell you, resurgence shifted the experience of this game and absolutely brought it back. Short matches reduced punishment. Respawns lowered frustration, casuals gained breathing room. However, if casuals can dominate and have fun, that means sweats can dominate and have even more fun because now they have a more chance to kill casual players. Now, the conflict never ended. A lot of players moved on to Battlefield 6 because it felt like what they're used to, what these casual players were yearning for was a simpler gaming experience. And Battlefield 6 did give it to them. Warzone ended up developing 2 audiences. Sweats chase efficiency and dominance, and casuals chase fast fun and recovery through resurgence. Streamers pulled the meta forward, their influence accelerated the gap, public perception followed the creator experience. That puts strain on the ecosystem of this game. Over time, casual players disengaged and went to other games, while now Warzone is seen more as a sweat fest where you get clips. It's not the same game, however, it has a steady fan base, it knows its identity, and if you want to get a game that pushes you to the edge and makes you really sweat, you're going to get on Warzone. If you want a game that's a little bit more casual, go on Battlefield 6. It stays true to the shooter genre that Call of Duty once had. Again, Battlefield 6 made jokes about Warzone, how they're not going to be doing collabs. You have characters like, 21 Savage, Nicki Minaj, The Boys. They even had a Godzilla event. So they kind of went for like a Fortnite-esque gameplay style and understanding. Matter of fact, other games like Fortnite and Apex took things from Call of Duty. You had the self-res. I mean, Call of Duty did amazing thing for the battle royale genre. I can't knock them. However, it has its own identity. Fortnite was able to please both sides by basically turning into Roblox. Apex is Apex, so there's not really much to say about that. They have a very strong competitive scene. Warzone is seen as a sweat fest. The great filter of gaming explains why so many battle royals exist and why so few remain. Launching a game is easy. Passing through the filter just isn't. Some games fell immediately. They just never felt right. Couldn't hold attention long enough to where it mattered. Other games, like PUBG, passed the early stages but collapsed under their own weight. Innovation oftentimes overwhelms players. If your game's just too different, it might not survive. The skill gap widens, the momentum disappears, and only a few make it through. Not because they weren't perfect, it's just that they didn't understand the formula. Fortnite turned flexibility into strength. Apex refined its movement and competitive identity. Warzone had a war between the casuals and the sweats that still go on today. Each evolved through the filter in a different way. Ones that disappeared shared the same problem. They assumed novelty in their own popularity was enough. They assumed that balance could come later, and others assumed that the players would wait. The filter does not wait. Battle Royale rewards evolution and innovation. If you guys have enjoyed this video, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button.